hit the live button, and then I have no coffee. You guys should get your Bibles and open up to Genesis 27. And I'll be right back. All right. Whoop, here I am. I'm here. I'm not leaving you guys. I had to get my coffee. It was a big deal. That is hot. Okay. Now let's do a Bible study. Genesis chapter 27. So, we have Jacob dressing up as Esau, bringing his dad the savory meat that his mom cooked. And so in verse 24, he said, "Are you really my son Esau?" He said, "I am." He said, "Bring it near to me, and I'll eat my son's game, so that my soul may bless you." So he brought it near to him, and he ate. And he brought him wine, and he drank. Then his father Isaac said to him, "Come now, or near now, and kiss me, my son." And he came near and kissed him, and smelled the smell of the clothing, and blessed him, and said, "Surely the smell of my son is like the smell of a field, which the Lord has blessed. Therefore may God give you the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of grain and wine. Let people serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be master over your brethren, and let your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be everyone who curses you, and blessed be those who bless you. Now, we talked yesterday about him going with his feeling over the word that he heard. Today we actually see his smell and his taste also betray him. He tastes the food, it tastes like Esau's food. He smells the clothing, and it smells like Esau. And so, again, we see all of Isaac's senses fail him, minus the hearing of the words that his son said. So again, a spiritualization there, but just something we can kind of glean a little illustration of. Now, this blessing, there were two things which those sons sought after. There was the birthright and the blessing. The birthright Esau traded for his soup, the lentil stew. The birthright was that the firstborn son would get a double portion of an inheritance. So if you had 4 sons, your possessions get divided 5 ways, and 2 of those portions go to the firstborn son. Now, the blessing was the spiritual inheritance, that he's blessing him and praying and essentially like passing down that mantle. We kind of see it from Elijah to Elisha, right? That this passing down of a spiritual blessing. And so he blesses him. And notice that despite Isaac trying to bless the wrong son, I'm going on a confidence that Isaac knew what God told Rebekah, that the older shall serve the younger. But he was playing favorites, and he wanted to bless his older son. Yet, God's will still got done. It's funny how, one way or another, God always wins. God always gets his way. Now, Esau does show up. It happened, verse 30, as soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, and Jacob had scarcely gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. He also had made him savory food, and brought it to his father, and said to his father, "Let my father arise, and eat of his son's game, that your soul may bless me." And his father Isaac said to him, "Who are you?" And he said, "I'm your son, your firstborn Esau." Awkward. Then Isaac trembled exceedingly. It's in the Hebrew, trembling he trembled. And he said, Who? Where is the one who hunted game and brought it to me? And I ate all of it before you came, and I have blessed him. And indeed, he shall be blessed. When Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with an exceedingly great and bitter cry, and said to his father, Bless me also, O my father. But he said, Your brother came with deceit and has taken away your blessing. And Esau said, Isn't he rightly named Jacob, which is supplanter or heel catcher, someone who comes in and tries to sneak in and take something away? For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, now he has taken away my blessing. And he said, Have you not reserved a blessing for me? Then Isaac answered and said to Esau, Indeed, I have made him your master, and all his brethren I have given to him as servants. With grain and wine I have sustained him. What shall I do for you now, my son? So I wonder how this dawned on Isaac. When Isaac realized, like, God won. I tried to pull a quick one on him, but God got his way. And it's kind of like Isaac embraces it now. He was trying to bless the wrong son, but now he's just like, you know what? I thought I could go against the Lord, but I can't. The Lord always has his way. The Lord always wins. And so Esau says to his father, Have you only one blessing, my father? Bless me also, my father. Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac, his father, answered and said to him, Behold, your dwelling shall be of the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. By your sword you shall live, and you shall serve your brother. And it shall come to pass, when you become restless, that you shall break his yoke from your neck. So, it's talking about the perpetual contention between the Edomites, the descendants of Esau, and the Israelites, the descendants of Jacob. Remember, Jacob's going to get that name Israel here in a few chapters. And they'll remain perpetual enemies. Now, let's just finish up the chapter. I think we're at the point in Genesis where things are going to start moving a lot faster. We're not going to be spending, 10 weeks or 10 weeks, 10 days, in a single chapter. And so Esau hated Jacob, verse 41, because of the blessing which his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I will kill my brother Jacob. And the words of Esau, her older son, were told to Rebekah. So she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said to him, Surely your brother Esau comforts himself concerning you by intending to kill you. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice. Arise and flee to my brother Laban in Haran, and stay with him a few days until your brother's fury turns away, until your brother's anger turns away from you, and he forgets what you have done to him. Then I will send and bring you back from there. Why should I be bereaved of both of you in one day? It's funny. Well, I'll read this last verse. Sorry. And Rebekah said to Isaac, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob takes a wife of the daughters of Heth, like these who are the daughters of the land, what good will my life be to me? So, a couple closing notes. Rebekah, in fear, makes a decision to send her son away. Making decisions in fear is never a wise thing to do. She thinks, a little time will pass. It says in verse 44, stay with him a few days, and then I'll bring you home. Jacob will be gone for over 20 years. Or around 20 years, yeah. It's about 20 years. Because you got to do 7 for one wife, 7 for another wife, some other time along the way. It's like, 15, 20 years goes by. She, Rebekah, will never see Jacob again. Also, one of the things that causes this problem is the fact that Isaac never found wives for his boys like Abraham did for him. And Esau ended up hooking up with the local girls. And we already read in the last chapter about how that vexed everybody, that Esau was marrying the pagan women. and then getting whisked away into their pagan ways. And so she says, you need to go over and find a good girl from the other side there over in Haran. And so I think the cool thing, though, is that a big overarching theme in today's larger section of text is that God's will got done. Because even though Jacob's going to be gone for 20 years, God's will is going to be done. He's going to come back later possessing many herds and flocks. He's going to have wealth. He's going to have wives and children and all of this. God's will gets done. Isaac tries to bless the wrong child, and yet God's will gets done. People make plans. Isaac planned to bless Esau, but God got Jacob blessed. Rebekah planned to send Jacob away for a short period of time, but ends up staying a lot longer. There's all these plans, but God's will always gets done. And so we should take comfort knowing that you really can't mess up God's will. Now, we can sell ourselves short. We can sell ourselves short of what God's best will for our lives would be, but we can't necessarily ruin it. Even when we try and bless the wrong kid, God finds a way to get the one he needed blessed. And so this should help bring us that peace that surpasses understanding, remembering that no matter what we do, God's always in charge, and he might give you more than you can handle, but he'll never give himself more than he can handle. Whatever the situation is, God can handle it. So, there you guys go. We knocked out a chapter in 2 days. We're moving at record speed. Chapter 28 tomorrow. I will see you guys then. Cheers.